Maspyke.
Hello everybody, here we are on week number 3, technique of the week. Alright, so we're going to work on what I learned this initial throw from Joel to Noor at the Bull's Nest. So thank you to Boar's Nest and thank you to Joel. Anyway, here we are in the finish. Usually they go for a deep underhook here. So Chap's got a deep underhook over here. So what I'm going to do is to, instead of fight against that and try to swim back in, I'm going to use this overhook on the wizard. Immediately, my head position goes right into his head here. So I have good head position, I can control it with my head. Notice that he goes for the underhook, I go for my overhook. Okay. What I do is get my head position here, and I use the pressure. I want to get the elevation. Travis is taller than me, so what I'm going to try to do is lift, come up on my toes a little bit, because he is taller than me, to get my elevation above his shoulder so that I can use my head pressure and my shoulder pressure to push him down. Next step, grab his wrist very tightly so I can control this arm. So notice the wrist control right here, it's very important. Whoever has wrist control controls who gets an E. And so notice that I have wrist control right now. I can lift, I can knee, I can choose where I want to be, and I close this door to prevent him from leaving. Okay, now watch. Now Travis is going to explain what happens if he gets wrist control.
Right, so from here he grabs, maybe what I want to do is get wrist control myself. Here. Now I can control the wrist control. If he tries to knee me, I'm just going to push this against here. If I want to knee him, open up and knee.
That's why it's very important to control the wrist. Okay, from here, I can open this up, throw some knee strikes. I like to throw to the leg to loosen him up. That takes away his base so that he starts bending over. Once he starts bending over from those knees to the body, I'm going to take my back leg and bring it in between his legs like this. Okay. Now, with a pendulum swing-like motion, using my hips, not just forcing it with my strength, I'm going to use a pendulum-like swing to kick his leg up. I cannot just muscle this, especially since Travis is stronger and taller than me. Okay. If I just muscle this, he's gonna resist. So I need to have body mechanics on my side and physics. So I'm gonna use this pendulum swing to bring it up and use the motion of his hips. As I notice that when I move my hips like this, my whole body is engaged. I'm not using one muscle, just trying to push this and doing it all separately. Everything is one motion. I shuck my shoulder, boom, and I can stay on balance, just like that, by moving my hips back and forth. From here, I can, since he bend is over, I can go for my guillotine, standing guillotine here, and try to finish. If I have a barrier, I'm going to push him up against the barrier, I'm going to finish the guillotine. If that doesn't work, you have another option. So again, he goes for that underhook here. I get my head position, with our wrist control. I use this pendulum like swinging my leg. Boom, take that leg up, step behind. This more momentum comes, I push my hips forward to clear the hook, and I turn my hips, loading the punch, all at the same time. I load the punch, boom, and drop it right on his head.
One of the reasons I really like this technique, and one of the things that people should consider in any combat sport, is the difference between, like, you know, a high cost move that has a high payoff or a low cost move that has a high payoff. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things I don't see a whole lot of is that people aren't taking advantage of fighting those small battles to perhaps get something bigger. A lot of times they're taking really big chances for a really big payoff. If you're smart, you want to take the minimal amount of chance for a really big payoff. And that's why this technique is so good. It's because, you know, a lot of times people aren't using those trips. You got like really guys who are super good at, you know, like judo or something. I'm not, neither is Steven. We're not really good at judo, but we can use that to just off balance someone, to get their head from being up high to down low so we can get that guillotine, right? That's perfect right there. And the whole entire time, the moment you keep someone off balance, even attempting trips, a small trip from a clinch is a really low cost move. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't cost you anything. And if it does work, they're gonna end up on their caboose, on their bottom, right? So one thing to always consider is that moves and combinations, right? Like in boxing, you have like a jab. Jab is a pretty low cost move. Jab is like playing the nickel slots. right? You got like a bunch of nickels. You can play nickel slots all night long. It's no big deal. You can lose $20 at the end of the night, right? It's not like playing blackjack for $1,500 or whatever hand. So doing those low-cost moves with potential high payoff is a good way to intersperse in the cadence of your attack to lead to like a big move, a huge throw, a big payoff. And that's something that people really think about. Think about it in music. Think about it crescendo, right? Is that it's not just one volume the whole entire time. Any exciting song, any really good song, starts off a little soft and it gets really big. But there's something always in between. So you have to sort of, as a martial artist and as a competitor who really wants to win, you have to know the dynamics and understand the difference between low-cost moves, may yield high rewards, and then use those to intersperse between your high-class moves that have great rewards but also have great risks.